Hello everyone, this is Abraham. Welcome you. It's time for another part 2 about who and where is Yaya Panda in the relationship with Crash. Continuing the story from my previous version in this installment. I imagine how Yaya would appear in the Mind Over Mutant game. This story was unfold as Crash takes Yaya on a date. Meanwhile, Cortex takes Nina to school and team up with Embark to create a new machine called Envy. He plans to give it to everyone including Crash. Years later, Crash longs to see his sister and his beautiful when he finally reunited with his beautiful girlfriend Yaya. Coco set out to repair the robot machine and Crash joined them. I just made my own version instead of the puppet show. You should look at it. Watch.
Wow, we should clean this place up, children! It's been like a metric year!
Hey! That wasn't nice! Get in the slow lane, buddy!
Who's gonna make us? You? I don't think so.
Crash, to get this thing working, I'll need a bunch of parts. Here's a list. First up is the capacitron by my house.
I just hope Yaya appear in this game. So anyway, after Coco gives Crash into some paper, Yaya asks her if she can go with him. The reason she's curious why she always wanted to go with Crash all the time. Just because secret was they were coupled and lovers, that's why. After collecting all the screwdrivers and papers for Coco, they finally fixed the robot machine. Just then, they heard the villainous news about Cortex's dumb plan, and Cortex named the new headset machine called Envy. It could make phone calls, improvement food, and more. And it seems pretty weird. However, Coco and Crunch like it, unlike Crash and Yaya who felt that something wasn't right and seems fishy. In the middle of the crazy news, Gear appears and was ready to defeat Crash. Aku was ready, telling them to get ready to fight, but they were busy. They saw that Yaya and Crash could handle the fight and decided to go to meet Gear. After defeating Gear, Aku told him to leave the island, and he gave up. Aku then wanted to check on Crunch and Coco. However, upon starting, they end up losing controls for the situation. As they admitted to reach Crunch and Coco, they remain out of control. Coco used a basketball to attack them, but just before they could rescue Coco from the out of control headset, she mentioned to inform them that she would know what Cortex was up to and his plan. As well as saving Crunch, their mission now was clear. They need to locate Coco's rival, Nina. This was the only way to discover her uncle's hiding whereabouts and uncover his secrets. Before Crash and Yaya were about to see Nina, when they finally locate her, she asked for help about her uncle. However, she literally rejected their offer and wanted them to leave. They insist that she would do anything for her. She then requests that Crash and Yaya kiss each other, but Aku doesn't accept it because they had already done that multiple times. So Nina ended up bullying them, referring to them as a big fat panda and a small bandicoot in love. After her hurtful remarks, Aku became serious and warned her, which she frightened them. They demand to know what she truly wanted. After their conversation with Nina, Crash and Yaya set out to go after Embryo for what he is up to, and his plan is still dumb and ridiculous and weird. He's trying to do something really crazy, and also Crash and Yaya is going to rescue Crunch. So it's up to Crash and Yaya to get after him, to get him and save Crunch. After he defeat him and save Crunch, Embryo was surrendered and telling what's going on and what's he up to Cortex. So now Cortex was finally doing something and finally taking over the world, and he forget about everything, and he's out of here. After defeating him, Cortex needs Uga Uga, Aku's brother, and began employing for a strange, weird, even though this is a kids show. Cortex then command the ghosts, informing them that the Bandicoot and the Panda Girl were on their way to get them. Since Crash and Aku has finally found his brother, and now he's telling them that he wants revenge on Cortex. But does he remember he's a jerk on his mother's birthday? Yeah, he always gave him a socks. That was so weird. Villains are so weird. So however, the thing is, Uga Uga telling them that they know where Cortex up to in his plan. So they were preparing to see him. Okay, now finally Crash and Yaya made it to the stop Cortex. And now look at this. Looks so cool in Dragon Ball Z style. And don't get me wrong, I don't even know what does Yaya look like in Dragon Ball Z style. Like based on that game. Like they look so cool. It looks amazing. And awesome Dragon Ball style. That was so cool. Like too many Dragon Ball Z fans. So anyway, the point is, it's up to those two can finally finish Cortex off, and then he is now surrender and give up. So after he defeat Cortex, he will never quit, and he just keeps saying it's his turn and he wants to win, and he's tired of it. Like he wants to win. Like he's been lost for over a year. Don't get me wrong, Cortex needs to surrendered. Like he needs to quit and go on vacation. So don't get me wrong, it's basically true. So this man needs to quit before Cortex has escaped, and now they just hope Crash and Yaya survive from falling. But before Yaya was holding Crash, she said to him, "O-I-E," translate "I love you," before they fall each other. Well, once they survive, but Crash doesn't know what Yaya means, and they were safe. So then Coco telling Yaya and Crash that Crash for saving the world, and now after that they're trying to clean up the place, and Crunch telling her, and then Coco saying to Crunch, "Leave my best friend out of this," for their final word. And the end. That's how the end. Okay guys, we're done. This is imagine in my opinion about if Yaya appeared in Mind Over Mutant with Crash. So here's my opinion about what happened to Crash Bandicoot third game. So I will explain about the Crash Bandicoot third game, Attack 2 Crash. So the thing is, why they never make the last and final for the third game for the Attack 2 Crash? Because they made The Legend of Spyro Dawn of a Dragon the third game, which you play as with Cinder. But what about Crash the third, the Attack 2 Crash the third one? I don't see that happen. I mean, here's the story. Here's gonna be something really cool if they wouldn't make the third game. So here's my imagination about for the third Attack 2 Crash for the last one. Okay, so we wanted a third game based on The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's worldwide adventures. I want something like Crash and his friends go on the ride on the boat and shipped around the ocean and around the world, and see more world and more adventures they can go on. Here's the most importantly that what Yaya always wanted to go is the world in the land of China, because that's where she was born and living there, and she wanted to meet her family, like her father or ancestors and more. So Coco and Crash and Crunch always liked the idea that she want to go in there. And why? Because you can see that China is a beautiful place and it has amazing city and delicious food, and they will love to go there. But the thing is, since if they're going to China, all they need to do is Crash needs to wear a shirt. After all, he is shirtless, so he has to wear something really amazing. So right now, Crash wanted to ask her that does he have his favorite fruits? He doesn't like eat any junk food, so he loves fruit, but he never actually tried those China foods before. But she's gonna say it was extremely, really delicious in that place. And Yaya's father, she will introducing her boyfriend Crash that they were dating. And I don't know how he feel about him. And it will be perfect if they finally make Coco getting a boyfriend, and same as Aku Aku. And Aku Aku can get a girlfriend. But then, you know what's gonna be perfect? Since her father was professional kung fu, then he should like train Crash and Coco Crunch to be a professional kung fu, just like her daughter Yaya. More powerful, more moves, more strongest. And also, who will be the true villain in this game? We know that familiar characters will come back from the previous game, but we need more. Like, we want a villain to come back was between Dingodile, Koala, Ripperoo, and Tiny. Oh, and they should make an anti-hero characters too. Like, that would be cool if they made it. Like something really serious and more villainous, just like the version of Manford from the Legend of Spyro. I noticed that fans create a truly cool character, creepy too. Thought it was weird, but about their identical. This character could have been an idea villain for upcoming Crash game, as they resemble Manform perfectly. I mean, this guy should be like, it's about that he is like a extremely monster, and also he's the leader of the Titans, and he's very strong, and he create new Titans characters, and that would be so cool if they did. Like for example, like he was a monster and he was really a rival and get revenge on Yaya's father, since they were like back in the history, but he wanted a payback. So if they did kidnap Yaya's father, it's up to Crash and Yaya to rescue her father from that monster. But then he will order Crash and Yaya not to bring mask, something like Aku Aku, like not to bring it, because they will be cowards if they need him. They want those two to fight him like a real heroes. And that would be so cool, and wanting that based on from Spyro, where Spyro Cinder defeat Manform. So Crash and Yaya do it exactly the same. So then, after they rescue Yaya's father, they have to escape from him. And they can use their powers to get out of here. After they save her father, Crash and Yaya can finally start have a romantic couple to each other. And then Coco can finally find out that Crash is dating her best friend. So which means she was very happy for both of them. And those two are so perfect for each other. So that's it. That's what I think of, and it's my opinion story and the idea of the third Tech 2 Crash. I mean, that will be cool. So here's the final, and we're done here. So here's my final. So the thing is, however, in the Tech 2 Crash, I heard he's still thinking about Tana, since they made like a combo somewhere. So, but the thing is, my question is, where is Tana? So she can't be in that universe. So Crash supposed to be in love, some love interest from another new female character. Something like, I just create this story and I made the opening of Crash of a Titan where Yaya appears. Like if YayaPanda appeared in Crash of a Titan game. After all, she did appears in Nitro Kart 2 and 3D back in 2008. So she's supposed to be appearness in Crash of a Titan, but if not, then she was supposed to be Mind Over Mutant. But my question is, where was she? She was to be part of the main second lead character from Tech 2 Crash. It is very unknown and don't understand why. I mean, we only see her one time in Nitro Kart 2 and 3D back in 2008. Very true, YayaPanda has finally returned to Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fuel, and finally Crash on the Run. That's why she came back, but we want to see her again more. But why she didn't appear in a Mind Over Mutant? Like, that's what I was curious about. I mean, if she did appear between Crash of a Titan and Mind Over Mutant, we wouldn't like learn more about YayaPanda or who is YayaPanda. And Yaya could become Crash love interest, later boyfriend, just like Spyro and Cinder. And however, that's the end. That's all. So, if you guys like it, please hit subscribe. I try my best to learn. I hope you guys understand me. Like, this is my imagination. This is just my opinion, my stories. I hope you guys like my idea for Tech 2 Crash Return for the third game. I know you don't like the new Crash, but I kind of like the Tech 2 Crash. He's amazing. So anyway, thank you so much everyone. See you all later and bye.